Dance, magic dance. Dance, magic dance.
Welcome to TrekTrav. I am Trav. This is Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 8, Labyrinths. And it's not quite like this labyrinth, but much more like this labyrinth. I don't know what I'm going to put here, but I presume it's going to be moderately stupid. This is the review. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for future videos. So the episode opens up with Maul on a Breen ship. The Primarch is hunting Discovery. Discovery is at the archive, the door of the Badlands. We get a brilliant sort of, I want to say, almost customer service person who is friendly and invites him in, a bit talkative. Michael's in a rush. She gets invited on board. Booker gets invited on board. Booker to see a piece of Quajon. Michael to obviously go hunt for the clue. They know the Breen are coming. And once they're aboard, we're surrounded by a library of books. Why is it books? Why in the future is it always depicted as having books? It's the 32nd century. Why? So Michael gets taken to the book that they're after from the Betazoid Marina decks, and she starts looking through it. Book gets taken to a room with a small little, I want to say, wooden bowl, which is from a tree on Quajon. Inside is a root from their world root, a clipping, and Booker cries a little. And then they go to see Michael again, and Michael has collapsed on the floor. What could be happening? Meanwhile, Maul is on board with the Primarch, and the Primarch's sort of moving into megalomania sort of territory. He wants the clue. He wants the power that he was promised. And you can see that Maul is, with the crew, she is sort of going, okay, this is against the traditions of the Breen. This isn't how Breen act. So maybe I can work on this. And she spends sort of the whole episode sort of pushing this narrative that maybe the Primarch is actually just after it for the power and not for anything other than his own greed. We get shown Michael awoken into another version of the library because it's too expensive to have these things. And Booker is there in, I would say, like a Time Lordian-like outfit. It's odd. I notice these things instantly. There's like, they use a lot of the hexagons, and the outfits they're wearing are very Time Lordy. Booker is very prim and proper, and he's sort of letting Michael work out what she's meant to do. First, she thinks, oh, I've got to go look at history books because that'll solve the problem, because you can only learn for the future from looking at the past. That's not right. Meanwhile, on the Discovery, they are waiting outside. The Breen are at the door. They're trying to work out whether they should hide or not. It's really good. I've forgotten the name of the character's name, but the gentleman in charge of Discovery is doing a really great job. He's a really good captain. Rayna has been down with Culber to work on Michael Burnham. The general worry in Book's eyes is really interesting. I genuinely think this episode is really good. So Michael then goes, okay, it's a labyrinth. I've got to go through it. I've got to work my way through it. And the Booker avatar is basically sort of edging her along, gives her answers, but not the actual answer. Until you notice the lights turning off. Michael doesn't notice it, but you notice towards the end, we find out that she is dying. There is a time limit. If she doesn't succeed at this, she dead. But she can quit without going for the ending. Rayna is frustrated because he knows how the Breen are. He knows he can take control. The Breen launch a weapon so they can get through to the archive. They get through. Booker is shot. Rayna is shooting. The Primarch is getting more and more sort of megalomaniac and a bit crazy. There's a really cool shot where they're just firing on this archive. It's this huge weapon. The Breen ship is really impressive. I think the Breen in this episode, although he does kind of sound like Lord Zed from Power Rangers.
Emperor of all I see, you have failed to complete the mission assigned to you. We will defeat all who stand against us.
Very much come across as a big threat. I don't think Discovery's managed to pull off a good big threat yet, but these guys are building up to be probably one of the best antagonists in Discovery that they've had. Certainly, the fall of Locke being dead, Maul is still grieving, but you sort of don't know where her side is, whether she's going to be sort of helping Discovery. Like, she doesn't want Discovery people to die. She doesn't want the archivists to die, and she points that out. The Primarch, on the other hand, like, is aware that there's Breen artifacts on this archive. If they destroy it, they're going to make all of the Breen angry. And eventually he goes, I don't give a fuck. And Maul goes, look, he doesn't care about you or tradition or anything. He even makes a promise to burn him, which is like an unbreakable promise. Discovery leaves, but he doesn't know that because Discovery did a trick and they presume blown up. And he goes, destroy the archive. And she goes, look, he did this. And then one of the crew turn on him. He approaches, Maul kills him, and Maul is in charge of the Breen. And her singular purpose in this is that she loves Locke and wants to bring him back to life. There's no other purpose in her mind other than she wants to bring the man she loves back from the dead. Let's hope that's not the actual power. But so we end the episode on Discovery, about 22 million light years away from where the Progenitor's technology is. The Breen are on their way. The ship is in the shit. The archive thankfully survives because Maul saved it. But Maul is coming to get that Progenitor technology. Everything's into the shit. And you know what? It's a really good build. We get to learn a ton about Michael Burnham, about her insecurities, what drives her, how much the mission means to her, how much book means to her. We get to see things we don't normally see from her. We see a lot from Michael Burnham, but very rarely do we sort of analyze her character in a way. And there's a part of me when she was talking about having to prove herself constantly, where I thought very much, feels like she's speaking to the audience. I have to prove myself to this audience because they keep judging me on everything I do.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having a purpose? You don't have to go out every day and prove yourself. Why you matter. You don't have to prove that you deserve this uniform, this rank, that you can be counted on, that you won't quit, that you won't fail again.
Again?
And I sat there and I went, they must know. They must know. But it honestly, it was a fantastic episode. In terms of the only thing I had a problem with was the books in the Labyrinth. I think it looked great. I think the special effects were great. I think the stakes were great. I think the Primarch would have been good if they kept him longer, but I'd like to see where this is going. I certainly think that Series 5 will hopefully hit a banger. I do think that the Breen, when they're speaking English, sound like Lord Zed from Power Rangers. I do have a theory, and I don't know why, but my theory is, because they sort of pointed out something big happens in the last episode. I wonder if Avery Brooks is going to turn up in the last episode of the series. Because when it comes to the tone and the story of this series, we've got the Badlands, we've had sort of references to DS9, the Dominion War. The whole tonal shift to me feels like, if you want to talk about gods within Star Trek, that is very much Sisko's prerogative. So it would be nice if Sisko popped up. I think it's probably going to end up being the Breen are actually the progenitors now evolved, but I'm not 100% sure. Or the Breen will be like the children of the progenitors, the direct line. But I just keep thinking everything about the spirituality or the power referenced in this seems very Sisko and Deep Space Nine. Unless they're just going to make Michael Burnham into a god like they did with Sisko. Otherwise, what did you think of the episode? My particular favourite moments were just some of the battle sequences were brilliant. I think all the performances around were great. I do wish they wouldn't focus on Booker and Michael so much. Like I get their relationship and their dynamic is really, really good. Please focus on the other characters. Also, once again, where are Owo and where's Owo gone? Where's Detmer gone? Like, did they just disappear? My only theory on that is they're going to show up in the last episode with a brand new, done-up Enterprise to sort of, I don't know, be cool and have a cool ending. But yeah, like, I don't know why they're not there. I don't know why the library's filled with books. I don't know why there wasn't a musical number in the middle by a guy with really, really tight pants and a giant crotch bulge.
Well,
But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you next time for next week's review. Have a good night.